So hello everyone, Radji is here, and today I'm actually pissed. I just watched a video of Elgin that's been posted 11 days ago, and actually, if what he said become true, I will be so mad, bro. Apparently, in that video, which will we be reacting like after this, Lunox will be changed. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't like it at all, bro. Like for me, Lunox right now is balanced. Everything is good with her. Maybe not exactly that good, but I feel like right now, if you touch her, you will make it bad. So yeah, I don't wanna spoil you guys, so let's watch it together. Here's the video, guys. Advanced server update. Lunox Skypacer Malefic Gun change patch.
Hero adjustments and item updates. Hey guys, what's up? Today let's check out the latest update on Advanced Server, and it features the experimental adjustments on Lunox, Sun, Badam, Argus, and Cyclops. Skypiercer, Malefic Gun, and more are also included in the patch. First up, we have the experimental
Skypacer is
adjustment on
disgusting,
Lunox,
bro.
where they made her easier to play. Honestly, easier is an understatement because they removed the mechanic of switching between light and dark state. And
Dude, this has to be a joke. How can they remove the only thing that make her special, bro? Lunox light form and dark form, that is the best thing on Lunox. Oh my god.
And here's how they did it. First is they removed the altered skill.
Yeah,
Next, they separated the
there's
dark
no
and
longer
light
the shared
ultimate
skill.
button. That means you can now use any ultimate without the need to switch states. As you can see, I can now use the two ultimates consecutively. I don't need
Oh
to switch
my
anymore.
god.
Next change is the cooldown sharing of her skills. Now that you only have one state, her first and second skill now have a separate cooldown timer. Cool, right? All you need to do now is press any skill that you like. No more complicated combos to memorize.
I feel like Lunox is becoming just like a spammable arrow. You you choose it and then you just come spam your skill, spam your skill, spam your skill. Bro, it will be no longer fun. I really hope that they don't change this.
Moving on, there are some slight changes to her mechanics. Using her Dark Ultimate prevents you to use the first skill Light version. As you can see, it's blocked until the ultimate duration is finished. Similarly, it applies to her Light Ultimate. During this state, the Dark second skill is blocked, but her first skill is not.
So we will not be able to do the combos like combos between dark and light. Ah, bro. Just from this, I don't even want to play Lunox anymore.
That means you can spam the skill while in her Light Ultimate state. This should allow you to heal nicely during her invincibility.
I like this one though.
And that's pretty
The
much
fact that
it
you
for
can
Lunox's
use the first
experimental
skill.
adjustment. Remember, this is labeled as experimental, which means there's a chance it won't get applied on official server. She
Yeah,
became
I
easier
hope
to use, perfect for beginners.
I
Next, we
hope
have the
they don't
experimental
apply.
adjustment on Badam.
People
The
have this to
developer
train.
said his knockback effect on every fourth basic attack does not align well with his combo style. To fix this, they are making the following adjustment. They are removing the knockback effect on his basic attack. As you can see, it's no longer working. The
I
stun
think
on his
this one will
passive
be
is now
going to
longer from
to be good.
0.6 to 0.8 seconds. This should make escaping harder during his combo. Next, his first skill now deals more damage. Same for his
Hopefully this will bring him to meta again. It's been a while since I didn't see Badang.
ultimate, where they increase its attack scaling. However, the attack effects is lowered from 100 down to 66%. And lastly, his second skill dash is now faster by 33%. So with these adjustments, Badang's build should favor burst type instead of attack speed. He should now focus on raw attack and cooldown reduction to make his combos more effective. No more stun lock though. So what can our Badang players say about this adjustment? Next, we have the experimental adjustment on Sun. His ultimate can now summon a clone behind an enemy hero. and the enemy will be petrified for 0.8 seconds. This should make
Oh
catching
my god.
enemies easier, and you no longer need the Petrify spell. The downside is that you need a hero to cast this skill. It doesn't work on
I think this
minions,
is a
jungle
nerf.
creeps, lord, and turtle. This
This
means
looks
you can
like a
only
nerf
use
to
it when there's an enemy hero nearby.
the sun.
It will be harder to solo push towers or take down objectives with only his clones. And you also lost the ability to become untargetable when casting his ultimate. Part of the adjustment is his passive, where they
I like it though. Sun players only focus like pushing. When you play against them, they are so annoying. And every time you are about to kill them, they use their ult and confuse you with their clone. It's so hard. At least with this, we will have less clone, and it's good. Anyway, I don't play Sun, so it doesn't matter to me.
lowered the maximum stacks from 10 down to 5. To balance, they increased the defense reduction stack to 5%. Basically, it now requires fewer basic attacks to reach the maximum stacks, but in exchange, the limit is now lower. Next, we have his third skill whose damage is increased, but they've added 2 seconds of cooldown. His HP stats is also nerfed with lower base and growth. Overall, this should improve Sun's early and mid-game ability to get kills. The downside, pushing and objective takedowns will be harder now that you've lost the ability to use his ultimate on his own. Remember, these are still labeled as experimental adjustments. If you don't like it, you can let the developers know in the comment section. I believe they also review
Yeah,
feedbacks
guys.
on videos like this. Now let's talk
Please don't forget to tell Muntun that we don't like Lunox. Please, guys.
about Argus, his experimental adjustments have returned. Just like before, here are his changes. He will no longer gain energy over time, but in exchange, he gets more when doing basic attacks and dealing critical damage.
Oh
Passive
my god,
damage
this
is
looks
better in the early
disgusting.
game, but weaker in the later stages. Skill 2 will give 100 energy, and you can keep the excess for the next basic attack. The ultimate duration will extend if he takes fatal damage. However, I don't think it's implemented on advanced server yet, because the skills are still for the current Argus. Moving on, we have the return of Cyclops' experimental adjustments. Ultimate is now faster and cooldown is shorter.
Oh my
In
gosh.
exchange, the damage is weakened as well as its immobilized time. Second skill now has a bigger range. In return, the damage is slightly lowered. Next, we have the adjustment on the airborne crowd control effect. As you all know, most crowd control effects can be affected by resilience except for airborne and suppression. And since suppression is less common, airborne has become slightly overused. To balance, they will reduce the duration of airborne on several heroes. Here are the list of heroes whose airborne duration is shortened. Tigreal's second skill, Vexana's ultimate, Gatot Kacha's ultimate, Grax's ultimate, Leslie's second skill, Martis' second skill, Kofra's first skill, Yuzong's third skill, Edith's first skill, Julian's enhanced third skill. Meanwhile, Chief's second skill is downgraded to stun, and you can no longer cancel Odette's ultimate with this skill. Guinevere will have a shorter airborne duration, but her second skill range is now longer. Vale will have a shorter airborne on his second skill, but in exchange,
Oh my
his
gosh.
ultimate will explode faster, and it will also have a stronger pull effect. Kadita, whose combo is based on her second skill, will have some adjustments as well. First skill movement is now faster.
Why they are making these changes?
Airborne duration on her second skill is down
I
to 1
even
second,
understand.
but the force swing of the skill is cut short by 50%. Same for her ultimate, whose animation is now faster by 15%. They made
Yeah,
these
I like
changes
this
so
one.
that it doesn't affect their combos too
Sometimes
much.
people-
The
when you
developers
are
also
about to
said they
kill
will be more
somebody,
cautious
people
implementing
will send
airborne
you and
effects
kill you.
in the future. Next, we have a nerf on Clint. Now that his attack animations are faster, they had to tone down his first skill damage for balance in the early game. If you remember last week, his combos are faster and his second skill now has a longer dash. Next is the return of Joy's experimental adjustments.
Yeah.
The interval of her second skill is shorter from 1
wish
second
they
down to
bring back
0.8.
the
It's a
Immunio.
way to reduce her damage time in the hopes of increasing her burst capability. Next is
Ay.
Chang'e. The developer said she has significantly improved with last week's skill adjustment. To compensate for the lost mobility, she now gains more HP and base movement speed. Next
Oh
is
my
the
god.
revamped Hanzo. He now gains energy when an enemy unit dies
I'm
near him
excited for
during his
Hando
ultimate
though.
stage. That's 2 energy from a non-hero unit, while 20 when a hero dies.
The Hando look like
Now let's
it's
check
really
the
fun.
item section. First is Sky Piercer. The HP threshold is now a flat number instead of percentage.
Oh my
So at
god.
minimum
People
stats,
will
the enemy
stop
will die if their
abusing it.
HP is below 180 instead of the old 4% max HP. Meanwhile, at max stacks, the enemy will die if their HP is below 500. That means tanks will have a better chance surviving against a Sky Piercer user because of their high HP. On the current version, high HP heroes are easily killed since it's percentage based. So finally some good news for our tank players. Next is the
Oh,
big adjustment on Malefic Gun. It now provides a fixed 15% extra basic attack range. That means you no longer need to land a skill to activate it, and there's no cooldown. It
that
immediately
will
adds
be
extra
nice
basic
for
attack
some
range once you
heroes.
buy the item. Then it also has a new
Like
stat where
Moscow,
it
I
gives
think.
30% physical penetration. Crazy, right? It's a game changer for some heroes.
Maybe.
However, there's a note that this effect cannot stack with the penetration of Malefic Roar. Anyway, to
Oh.
balance the item, they had to adjust the stats. Lifesteal is removed, while physical attack and attack speed are lowered. Overall, this should improve some of the not so popular heroes we have right now. Next is the item Malefic Roar. It now gives 30% physical penetration instead of 20. To balance, the
Mm.
penetration limit on its unique passive is lowered from 40 down to 30. That means it should deal more damage against heroes with fewer physical defense. Next, we have Wind Talker. Its critical chance stat is increased from 10 to 20%. In exchange, they remove the plus 20 physical attack, so better critical chance, but it now has 0 physical attack. Next, we have the Regen spell. It will now give 18% max mana instead of 9. This should be an
That's
indirect
nice.
buff on mana-dependent heroes like Zushin, Sicilian, and Alice. Last, we have the HP adjustments on all heroes. The starting HP of all heroes are getting reduced, but in return, the HP growth is increased. And this is in line with the Marksman HP adjustment from the previous patch. This aims to narrow the early
Okay.
game gap with the Marksman class. And that's it for our weekly advanced server update. It's a big
Uh,
one, especially the item part where it can affect
yeah.
many heroes. So what can you say about the patch? Do you like the adjustments on Sun, Lunox, and Badang? Share your thoughts in the comment section. That's all for this video. Stay safe and thank you for watching.
Thank you, Elgin. So, guys, what do you think about the Lunox? Me, just like I said in the video, I really don't want them to make this change. The new player has to watch like a tutorial if they really want to play Lunox. But yeah, it's like making funny easier. Oh, it's so annoying. It will be so hard for the people that train it. So hard to master it, to master her. So yeah, that's what I think about it. Anyway, I will end the video here. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one.